What's going on? What's going on, guys? It's your boy, Storyteller Jet, with another episode of That's So Fire Evotion Podcast. And today we have another treat for you. We have here Amel Kilic, an immigrant that has transformed the landscape about, helping other people launching their businesses and also crushing it with the ads agency about GenTech marketing. Even won like multiple awards too, like ClickFunnels. You guys won like 2 of them, fantastic, and also like the best out of Florida, which is fantastic. So today we're gonna be talking about how an immigrant, and I'm an immigrant too, by the way, has come here and crushed the field and helping other people start their business. So Amel, tell me a little bit about yourself.
It's funny that the fact that me being an immigrant sells, but I think people attract to me being like immigrant because it's like, how does someone that doesn't even know the language, doesn't know the systems, doesn't really have like any back end supporting him, make it in this country, while people that have been born here have the funding, have the family, have everything in place, and yet they're not able to change their life and succeed in the business world. And I think it just comes down to the fact that we had nothing to lose, right? And I think that's what happened to me as well, coming from Bosnia with a single parent. I had nothing to lose. We literally had $200 and I started with nothing. And the fact that right now we're scaling past $600K a month, it was all about, hey, like I have nothing to lose. I'm not going back. And the fear of going back is what keeps me motivated every single day.
Awesome. Would you like to learn how to make $600K a month? I mean, this talk is going to be just for you right here. So, how did you get started? Let's start with that. How did you get started and how did you meet your partner and, get started with GenTech marketing?
I mean, the thing is like when you're foreign, you have 2 options, become a doctor or become a lawyer. So I did go down the school route. I did have a degree like in nursing. I wasn't going to spend 18 years becoming a doctor. I knew that wasn't going to be the path, but I was working at the hospital when I started GenTech, and I knew that there was more to life. Like I would look at the doctors and they used to come in to the hospital with like beat up Hondas. And I looked at the nurses and they were unhappy. And I just said, this isn't the way I want to live my life. Like there's no way I'm going to keep on doing this for the next 40 years until I'm 60. And then what? So I started looking at different like business options. Like obviously the first thing that people talk about is like the e-com space. So I started like a drop shipping website. That didn't work out, obviously. But then I started like a SaaS company. I think it's a cool concept, but that didn't work out either. But at that time, my girlfriend was going to school for marketing. And I was like, that's an interesting space. Let me look into it. And I watched like a few YouTube videos. I found some people that were running Facebook ads. And I was like, I can do this. Let me give it a try. And then for 2-3 months, I would just like practice on the ads manager. I would hit up some businesses and see if they're willing to hire me for marketing services. And it was the first time that someone actually paid me for a service. It wasn't a lot. It was $200 at that time.
Wow.
But I was like, okay, someone paid me $200. At that time, I was making $30 an hour. So I would have to work like 10 hours for that money. Well, 8 hours.
And when was that? Like it wasn't like in 2015, 2017?
This was, 15. I officially consider myself being like a business owner in 2016, 17. Because it was always just like a side thing. Like I would make $1,000 and $2,000 and $3,000 and $4,000, but it wasn't enough for me to quit my job yet. So I would say 2017 is when I took it serious, and then me and Christian partnered up in 2020.
Wow, that's awesome. How did you meet Christian?
He DM'd me.
Oh wow,
Slid into the DM.
Slid into your DM. I see. Yeah, that's awesome. What is the secret of your like explosive growth? Obviously you making like 200 for your very first things, now making like over $500,000 a month. What is the secret behind your growth?
I mean, like everyone knows the concept of the 5-year overnight success, right? It wasn't explosive. It's a compound effect. Like it goes like this, and in business you get this little like momentum, I would like to say, where you go from 100K to 300K, then from 300 to like 600, and hopefully from 600 our goal is like to hit like $1 million a month. It wasn't like overnight, and it wasn't just explosive. It's really like figuring out what you need to do to get to the next level. Like there's always plateaus. 10K was a plateau for us, and then 50K was a plateau. and then 100, and then 200, and then 300, and now 600, right? So I think the biggest thing is like you always keep on pushing. And then when you hit a plateau for like 3 months, you make the same amount of money, you ask yourself, what do I need to change? It's either your skill set or your team or your service.
That's awesome. Are there any other things that you can do to like, get out of that plateau besides those three things that you just mentioned?
I think for us, it was also having the right mentors. We don't believe directly in like just having a mentor kind of guide you to the next level, but it's more so being in the right circle, like BA, for example. Having the ability to see what other people are doing and understanding that there's different levels to the business world, I think it allows you to think bigger because being an immigrant, I would have never imagined that I could make 600K a month.
Yeah.
Like at that time, when I was at the hospital, 10K was my goal. 10K a month covers my bills. I'm happy. And then I'm like, wait, there's people making 100K a month in this space. Why can't I? And then you're like, wait, someone's making $500,000 a month. Why can't I? But when you're starting off, you can't even like envision yourself making that much.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember in a couple meetings, you did some presentations at BA, and that kind of talked a little bit about that too. But talk about like, marketing in general and like, how you're helping your other partners, businesses that helping with grow. Can you talk a little bit about like, Gentech marketing and how you're helping businesses grow and scale?
Yeah. So with the marketing space, the level of entry is super low. I mean, even when I started, I consider myself a marketer, but like, I don't know, 99% of the stuff that I do today. And the fact that there's a lot of people out there claiming that they're marketers and closing these clients on marketing services and then not delivering, it just affects our image in the space. So as soon as like someone hears marketer, they're like, oh, scam, right? Because they've been burned in the past so much. So with Gentech, my goal was to fix the image of marketers. Literally every client that we work with, we treat their business like it's ours. So every morning, the team asks themselves, what would I do if this was my business? How would I run the ads? What would I do with the budget? Would I change the website? What would I do? And when you treat it like yours, you're more dedicated to it. Like you're more sensitive to it. It's not just a client, because that client is also a person. They have family that depends on your results. They have goals that depend on your results. So the fact that you understand that it is an individual that you're working with, it's just a different mindset. Like you really take it to heart and you don't let people fail just because the ads didn't work the first time.
That's awesome. Awesome. So you have recently launched something that is going to change the agency world.
Yeah.
It's going to be fantastic. I'm losing my words over here because I know how great this is going to be. The agency blueprint. Can you talk to me a little bit about what's going to be, what's already entailed in that?
Me and Christian play around with it because 90% of Bosnians, when it came to the States, they were all truck drivers. Like they drive trucks or they're doing dispatch or somehow they're like in the trucking like space. And I like to say that through the agency blueprint, my goal is to get Bosnians into the digital space, like become owners through like marketing and having their own agency. Because I think this is the next step to really like make money in this world, because the level of entry is super low. To have like a online business like agency, you don't need a lot. With trucking, you need to buy trucks. You need to have like direct connections. You can have a digital like business within $100 of like investment. So my goal was to change as many lives as I can through the agency model, because I've done it. I have 3 agencies right now. And I want to make sure that like anyone that's looking to quit the 9-to-5 job, not go down the college route and like have 200K in debt, but they want to be successful. I want the agency blueprint to be their answer.
That's awesome. So when we talk about agency blueprints, what types of organizations would mostly benefit from that? I know it's mostly going to be in the digital space. Like, can you list like what types of like obviously marketing?
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you list what types of organizations are going to be benefiting from your platform?
What we focus on is the agency model. Now, the agency model covers website design. It covers paid ads, which is somewhat marketing. It covers content. So if you're a content creator, or if you like developing websites, or if you like running paid ads, all that falls into the agency space. A lot of companies even offer all three services. I mean, there's many more that you can offer, but ultimately, like, the agency model is designed around a service-based business, focusing on business owners, ideally. So you're working with, I don't know, lawyers, for example, or doctors or coaches, and you're helping them increase their revenue through different methods. Like, we have a good partner that focuses on content, and his content allows us to run better ads. So we're all like running an agency model. It depends on what they like doing as a service. And ideally, I recommend my members to always focus on that service.
Awesome. Yeah. I mean, that's going to be game changing for, like, people like, for me, for example, coming from Haiti to here. And I've always known that I wanted to, own a business, like having something like that already created for me, that having amazing people like you that have already paved the way, like, teaching me and, setting that, I think that's going to be game changing. So next question for you: why is having a job is a higher risk than owning a business?
So this is an interesting concept, because a lot of people say that having a business is a bigger risk than a job. Because with the job, you're secured, right? Like, every day that you go in, you get paid your hourly rate. Like, you're going to make your money somehow. But the risk falls into place long term. I mean, even with our team, like, we're having to readjust sometimes. And just like many other jobs, like, even when I was at the hospital, you can get fired. Like, you can get fired, you can get laid off, and your potential of growth is not that big. Like, you get what, a 3% raise every year. That's where the risk is. Understand the fact that you're going to dedicate, I don't know, 8 years of college to get your nursing degree, for example, with me. And then you got to work at a hospital, and they can let you go. Like, sometimes when we're short staffed, we let go of nurses, right? And also, like, you can lose your license. And with inflation on the other side, if you're making 5K a month and now, like, everything's more expensive, they're not going to bump you to 10K a month, so that you can afford to live. They'll give you maybe 7K. So that's where, like, the risk is. The risk is the fact that you're not in control. And with the business model, yes, like, it is hard, but you're in control. Like, if I'm starving, I know that someone is going to hire someone for marketing. And my question is, how do I present myself in front of that person so that I can collect the revenue? And I'm in full control. Like, if I'm making 10K a month and next month I want to make 20, I can make it happen, right? So that's why I believe personally that having 9 to 5 is a bigger risk than having your own business.
So here's another question, follow up with that. That was fire, by the way. That's so fire. For obviously you and I, we need obviously employees, and a lot of those guys, like, really have like a entrepreneur mindset. How do you encourage, or how do you, help your staff to kind of, like, have, like, be showing up to work and staying up late, to kind of, work and, like, be motivated to, help you grow your business?
I mean, we were talking about that this morning too. And ideally, you want to have a super clear vision, because at the end of the day, like, the people that moved armies moved them because of a vision. Who's willing to sacrifice their life? Like, I just watched Alexander the Great on Netflix the other day, and you realize that 40,000 people are fighting for this one guy because he has a vision. Why? And your team needs to function the same way. Like, there needs to be a clear vision. A good person is Steve Jobs. Like, he had a clear vision. And even when times get tough, where maybe you can't pay your employees, or maybe they have to stay late and work extra hours, the only thing that pushes them is the vision. A lot of people will say, well, I can pay them more. Sure, financial, like, motives are decent, but it's not going to get someone to do what you need from them to really get your business to the next level. So a clear vision, and then also you understanding their goals. Like, what is your goal? Every time someone comes into our business, I share, like, the business goals, like, hey, like, this is what we want to do. Can you, like, do that? But also, like, what is your goal? So I can make sure that you hit your goals.
Yeah, that's really great, and that's really fire, because I had the opportunity to meet an incredible individuals. He's the owner of Priceline, And one of the things that he says, your success is somebody else's miracle. And that kind of really stuck with me. And that's something that I want to, include like as part of our culture in the business. Like talking about like, whether all my team's dreams and goals and stuff like that. And, utilizing that to obviously, help them achieve their goal, because the success as the business is, my team or the other people's like, miracle. One other thing that he talked about was one of the employees wanted to buy a house for their moms. And, as that goal, they all worked toward that. And then the business was able to support buying that house, which is incredible. And one thing that we've decided to do as a business too, and this is a goal for us to kind of, achieve, which is by 2030, we want to be able to donate $1.2 million to organizations or like people that are, less fortunate to that. And this is kind of like, our purpose or vision. And talking about what you just said, you're having a vision or purpose that the team can rally behind, that we can all work toward accomplishing. I think this is one of the reasons why that people like, want to stay up late or kind of like, really giving, their all to kind of like, really help the business, succeed. So that's awesome that you guys have that mindset and also incorporating that in your business as well.
I agree. I also had, because you mentioned like buying a house, or like one of your employees wanted to buy the house. We had a good friend that's like very like focused on the sales side of like every business model. Like he plugs in his team into different businesses. And he said that the way he structures like the bonuses is he'll say, hey, like our goal is to hit, I don't know, 200K like this quarter. And then he individually asks everyone, well, like, what do you also want? Like, did you want a new car or did you want a new gift? And then he adds that cost on top of the goal. So if it's 200K and someone wants a new car, that's like 50K. He puts that on top of that. So 250K. And then he asks everyone else, because then like everyone works together to hit everyone else's goal. So 200K, cool, we made that. That goes into the business. But everything extra, it goes into the team, right?
Yeah, and again, it doesn't have to be, very complex. And by the way, the person I was talking about too is Jeff Hoffman.
Okay.
Definitely check him out. CEO of Priceline and other like big businesses. And another example was like one of the employees just wanted to take their kids to go to Disney for a few days. Like very simple and kind of really working toward that. And 6 months down the road, when all goals or everything was met, they were able to support that person to just kind of do something that simple. Cool. That was awesome. Next question. Why do most of the businesses, I think the percentage is really, really high, fail?
Yeah. I mean, I think they fail because they get comfortable, and then because with the business world, there's always like fires that you have to, get rid of. Like every single day when I wake up, there's like 4 or 5 fires that we have to put out. And at one point, you get super lazy and the fires take over the whole business. Like it burns down the business. So the reason I fail is because most business owners get lazy. They give up. 1 year down the road, 3 years down the road, 5 years down the road, 100 years down the road. Every business sooner or later will fail. The question is it going to be like day 2 or day, I don't know, like 200 years later, right? And the only time that happens is whoever's in charge is not willing to adopt and change and restructure and reprogram the business to survive. At the end of the day, like it's like your only limitation is yourself or your system in the business world. If you're not willing to upgrade it, it's going to die sooner or later because the fires will burn down the business.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest, talking about systems and processes, one of the biggest mistakes and that probably like contribute to that is not having a clear system and also not being willing to adapt. Like for me, it's like consistently like we use Lucid Chart to kind of build those systems and follow-ups and kind of doing all of that. And when we know that something is not working, we can kind of go back and see where the bottleneck is. For a while, I was the biggest bottleneck. But, having a clear system and, processes to kind of follow, and also the willingness to adapt and change, because obviously market shift, all of these kind of things, if you kind of really stay and you don't want to change, I think that's going to be, detriment to the success of the business. And don't quote me on that. And I think it was like 98% of startups fail or something like that. It's crazy numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it depends because like I said, every business will fail. What's considered a startup? Like what business, like at what level is a startup considered like a elite business model? And like, I don't think there's a clear answer to that because there's a lot of businesses that are considered startups that are making hundreds of millions,
Yeah.
especially in the tech space. So it doesn't come down to the revenue. It comes down to longevity and also like understanding that it's not always systems that need to be altered. Sometimes like the team needs to be altered. Sometimes the service, sometimes you, like sometimes like you said, like a lot of times the founder or the owner is in the way of the business actually scaling. Sometimes you just have to detach yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously you're very knowledgeable about all of this. So why did you decide to go that agency route?
So as I mentioned, I mean, with my girlfriend being in the marketing space and I was dabbling into it, I think I got lucky a little bit. I think with a lot of business owners, whenever I see them on stage and they're preaching their five step method to become $1 billion business, I'm like, cool, but like it's not proven. Because it's not like if I copy those 5 steps, I'll have $1 billion business.
Mhm.
It's the system that you implemented that worked for you. So even with me, the agency model is what for me worked and allowed me to reinvest my time and efforts and focus to keep on scaling. So why did I choose the agency model? I think it chose me at the end of the day. But the reason I like it is because of the margins and the fact that you can scale it. It truly is a cash cow because even with our members, like an agency blueprint, up to like 30K a month, they can manage the whole operation. So the margin is like 100%. Like you make 30K, you keep 30K. While like in an e-com space or like Amazon FBA, what do they keep? Like 5%. So like on IG, you see them making $1 million a month or 100K a month, but how much are they truly taking home? Like 3K. So I like the agency model because the margins are high, it's scalable, it's service based, and honestly, like you're working with cool people, like you're working with business owners. So it's like it's fun.
That's awesome. So, as it relates to the marketing side of things, what would be your biggest advice on somebody that wants to, take the next step, or grow from 10K a month to like 30K a month? What would be your advice to them?
Find someone that did it and replicate it. So even to this day, we look at people that are bigger than us and we figure out what system they're doing and like using to, hit a mil a month, and then we replicate it. So even with us, I tell everyone just copy us. Like, is your goal to make 500K a month? Yes, it is. Just copy what we're doing because we've tested it, we've done it. We spent a lot of money on coaches and mentors and systems and everything else that the people behind us, they don't have to. They can literally just do what was proven to work so far and just replicate that. And then ideally, my goal with everyone is replicate what someone is doing, but then add your little sauce to it because you have to be different at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And that little sauce always comes from within. Like, why did you want to start a business in the first place? Ask yourself that. What is your goal with the business? And let that be your purpose. Because the service delivery is the same. Like, you can hire a marketer in India for $50 a month, right? But like, what's their purpose? And then what's my purpose? Because my purpose is going to be a lot stronger, a lot more focused on your business. And I won't let you fail because my purpose is don't let anyone fail within our organization. So ideally, I always recommend like finding your purpose, but copying other people that are doing what you're supposed to be, what you want to do.
Awesome. What would be your like one thing that somebody can tweak today in their business as it relates to marketing to see growth in their business in marketing?
Yeah. Understand how to scale. That's the biggest issue that we see. A lot of people come to us and they're like, hey, I'm already running ads. I already have a funnel. I already have like VSL. I already have everything in place. And it's cool. But like, why are you still stuck at like 50K a month for the last like 6 months? And it comes down to a ceiling that they hit and they're not able to scale. Now, that's like a vague term. So you have to go back and ask yourself, why am I not scaling? Do I need more appointments? Do I need more leads? Increase the ad spend. But a lot of times when they increase the ad spend, they just get a higher CPL or a higher CPA, which is like the cost to acquire a client, and doesn't really like combat, because like, say for example, it costs them $100 to acquire a client and that client is worth 1,000. It makes sense. I'll do it all day. But they're like, okay, let's increase the budget. And now it costs $300 to acquire a client, but they're only making maybe extra $200 here. So it doesn't make sense, right? The way we run our ads, it's set up to scale. And then also understanding that sometimes you need to readjust your service. How do you charge like a higher AOV? Like if you only charge 3K, should you increase your price? Should you sell like another service on top of your service? Like ask yourself these questions so that you can scale, because that's like the future of every business. If you're not scaling and if you're plateau, I would say like either you're growing or you're dying, because there's no plateau.
I love it. That's a really great nugget right here. So for anybody that is looking to get the agency blueprint or like work with you guys, what is the next step? How can they, start working with you as it relates to their agency blueprint?
I mean, I always recommend just going on my IG, which is at Amel Kilic. I have a lot of case studies on there just so that you can see if it's even the right fit for you. Because the agency model, like, yes, you can make a lot of money, but you also need to work. And if that person is hungry and they see that the members on my IG and they like the storyline, all they need to do is just DM me CEO and, we can see if they're a good fit for the program.
That's fantastic. There you have it, guys. So it was really awesome to have you here today and
Thanks for
talk a
having
little
me,
bit about that. Are there anything else that you would like to add? Anything that we didn't touch on that you would like to, talk to our viewers about?
The biggest thing right now is a lot of times big CEOs or like as like people are getting like more known in their space, they hold back from sharing the behind the scenes and like really showcasing what we do on a daily basis to hit the numbers that we are hitting. So what we decided to do is launch a vlog really showcasing our life and what we do on a day-to-day basis. So make sure you follow us on YouTube, which is called 3 Fake Gurus.
I love it.
It's me, Christian, and Kareem. And it's focused around really showcasing the life of agency owners and what we do on a daily basis to keep on growing our business, to keep on evolving, and also the fun side of the agency space.
That's awesome. So obviously you guys are going to be vlogging and doing all the other fun stuff. So, and obviously that's going to be video. Can you talk about the importance about video and video marketing and how that is vital to growing your business?
I mean, honestly, like we all know that video is everything. On IG, we used to post 2 reels a day just to build up our branding. And after we built the branding, we took it down just to obviously have a different vision of our brand. But if we never posted that consistently, we wouldn't be where we are today. Like a lot of times when me or Christian or someone is out like in Tampa, they're like, hey, like I see your stuff everywhere. I see your ads. I see your reels. I see you on YouTube Shorts. I see you on TikTok. I see you everywhere. And it's all because of videos. Like, yeah, we listen to podcasts sometimes on Spotify. And I do like watching like YouTube videos, but everyone's scrolling on social media all day, every day. And you want to be present.
Yeah.
Because if you're not known, you're not really anywhere.
Yeah, I think you hit on something very, very important here, consistency. So for anybody that is just kind of really starting doing any, content, first thing that you need to know is it takes about 90 days of consistency to really start seeing like, really, traction. And you don't have to kind of post every day. You just need to be consistent because, to build that, that following or the people that you expect something of quality, from you. But yeah, it takes 90 days of like consistency, and you guys are awesome. Like you're posting twice a day.
We did that for a whole year.
Yeah.
And it's hard to do it by yourself. I do always recommend having a studio or a content creator or someone that can do it for you, because as a business owner, you're going to give up. Like, you don't have the time. Like, you have to think of topics. You have to record the videos. You have to edit the videos. You have to upload the videos. Is it doable? Yes, but it's very hard to stay consistent without having someone that's dedicated to it. And then also, you have the quality. Like, as soon as we, had like a higher level content creator, that's when our brand really blew up. Because before that, yeah, we posted videos, but it was like, oh, cool, that's cute. They're posting like videos. But then when you have quality videos, they're like, damn, these people are legit. All because of like high quality camera.
Yeah.
I
think what you're trying to do here is telling people they should come here and use the studio, like Evolution Studio. Is that what you're doing?
It's amazing studio. So
well, it was a blast having you here on the That's So Fire podcast. Again, this is the first one. I look forward to having you more and more in the future. And creating content and just kind of doing that. So you guys are fantastic, and I am so honored, to know you guys and sharing the same, community with you guys. And you guys are doing something amazing, and wholeheartedly, support you guys. Definitely go and check them, Gentech Marketing. And obviously, go to Amel Kilic personal Instagram. You get all the information there. But it was a pleasure.
Thank you for having me, man.
Yeah. Thank you guys for tuning in today. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and let's get to it. That was That's So Fire podcast. Let's go. Click over here or here or here, wherever. Sign up. Let's do it. It's fire, baby. Let's go.
That's so fire.